Ao, a once respected farmer, thought he had hidden his secret affair well, but his wife, Duni, quietly knew more than he realized. One evening, she handed him a simple letter that shattered his world, with just 4 words that sent his life spiraling out of control. As Ao struggles with the weight of his betrayal, Duni begins to rise in strength, using her pain as a tool for something far more powerful. Will Ao's guilt consume him, or will Duni take a step that no one in their village expects? The ending will leave you breathless, and only one letter holds the key to their fate. The sun was setting in the small village of Nimbe, casting a warm orange glow over the mud huts and farmlands. A cool breeze blew through the trees, whispering secrets from one leaf to another. Ao, a humble farmer, was returning from the fields. His wife, Duni, waited for him by the fire outside their hut, her hands busy pounding yam for dinner. They had been married for 10 years, blessed with 2 children, little Simi and playful Fola. Everyone in Nimbe knew Ao as a hard-working man. He was tall, with broad shoulders that told of years spent tilling the land. Duni, on the other hand, was known for her kindness and beauty. She was the perfect village wife, always with a smile and always there to help others. Together, they were admired as the perfect couple, or so it seemed. However, behind Duni's soft eyes, a storm was brewing. For months now, she had noticed changes in Ao. He had grown distant, often returning home late from the fields with weak excuses. She had caught the scent of a strange perfume on his clothes more than once, a scent that was not hers. Duni tried to push away the bad thoughts, but her heart could no longer ignore the signs. One evening, as the moon rose high in the sky, Duni followed Ao. Her heart raced, her feet moving silently through the bushes as she watched him leave the village and head towards the neighboring one, Arava. Her breath caught in her throat when she saw him enter a hut. Moments later, a woman, beautifully dressed in colorful wrappers and beads, came out to greet him. Ao embraced her, and they shared a long, secretive kiss under the moonlight. Duni felt her heart shatter. Her knees went weak, but she didn't let out a sound. She turned around and ran back home, tears streaming down her face. How could he? How could the man she loved betray her like this? But Duni was not the kind of woman to act out of anger. She was patient, calm, and knew that she needed to think clearly. The next morning, as the rooster crowed, Duni went about her chores as usual. She cooked for the children, tended to the goats, and even made Ao's favorite meal without saying a word about what she had seen the night before. Ao, thinking he had gotten away with his secret, kissed her on the forehead as he left for the fields. But inside Duni, a plan was forming. Later that day, Duni went to her mother's house. Her mother, Ma Areti, was an elder in the village, known for her wisdom and knowledge of old traditions. Sitting on a mat in front of her mother's hut, Duni shared her pain, her tears falling silently as she spoke. Ma Areti listened without interrupting. When Duni finished, her mother sighed deeply. Ao has forgotten his way, she said softly, placing a comforting hand on Duni's. But you, my daughter, will not let this destroy you. You must stay strong, for your children and for your own heart. What should I do, Mama? Duni asked, her voice trembling. Ma Areti thought for a moment, then whispered something into Duni's ear. Duni's eyes widened in surprise, but her mother smiled and handed her a small piece of paper. When the time is right, give him this letter. Let him read it alone. Duni took the letter, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. What could be written on such a small piece of paper that could change everything? She didn't know, but she trusted her mother's wisdom. Days passed, and Ao continued his deceit, sneaking off to meet the woman from Arava. Duni remained silent, watching, waiting for the perfect moment. She knew the letter would ruin him, but she needed him to feel the weight of his choices first. One evening, When Ao returned home late again, Duni calmly handed him the letter. "Please read this," she said softly, her eyes filled with unshed tears. Ao, confused but not suspecting anything, took the letter and stepped outside to read it. As he unfolded the small paper, his eyes scanned the words written in his wife's neat handwriting. Suddenly, the ground beneath him seemed to shift. His face turned pale, his hands shook as he read the single sentence over and over again. It was as if the world had stopped spinning. "I know about her." That was all it said. 4 simple words, but they hit him like 1,000 stones. Ao staggered, his mind racing. How did she know? What did she plan to do? Panic flooded his chest, and for the first time in months, he felt truly afraid. He rushed back into the hut, but Duni was no longer there. She had left him alone with his guilt. The walls seemed to close in on him as his heart pounded faster and faster. He sat down, his head in his hands, realizing that his life, his marriage, was falling apart. Now, every step he took felt heavy. He could no longer look his children in the eyes without feeling shame. The other villagers began to notice his unease, whispering among themselves. Even his mistress from Arava became distant, sensing the shift in his behavior. He was falling, and he didn't know how to stop it. The story had only just begun to unfold, and Ao had no idea how much more he had to lose. Duni, though heartbroken, was not finished yet. Her quiet strength hid a storm that was about to change everything in ways no one could predict. Ao's journey into darkness had only just started, and the letter was just the beginning. The real consequences of his actions were yet to come. As Ao sat in his empty hut, staring at the letter that had changed everything, he realized the full weight of his betrayal. His actions had not only hurt his wife, Duni, but also destroyed the peace and happiness of his family. He had lost her trust, her love, and possibly their future together. A single letter had unraveled the lies he had woven, leaving him alone to face the consequences of his choices. Duni, on the other hand, had found her strength. She had taken control of her pain and turned it into power. Her silence had spoken louder than any confrontation ever could, and now, she stood on the brink of a new life, one where she would no longer allow herself to be disrespected or mistreated. This story reminds us that every choice we make has consequences. It also shows that betrayal can tear apart the strongest of bonds, but inner strength and resilience can help us rebuild, even in the face of the deepest hurt. What would you do if you were in Duni's shoes? Should she forgive Ao or move on without him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more suspenseful and emotional stories that dive deep into the heart of real-life struggles. If you enjoyed this story, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.